Archangel Michael says, the story unfolding around you is nothing like what they expected. They thought they could stand above you, mock your silence, and underestimate your strength. Yet heaven has written a chapter where their arrogance becomes their downfall, and your quiet endurance becomes your crown. They smirk behind your back, believing you were too blind to notice. They whispered in circles, convinced you were too naive to understand. But every word they spoke, every crooked plan they made, was seen by the watchful eyes of heaven. The tables are shifting without warning. Their laughter is beginning to fade, and their confidence trembles like glass about to shatter. Because what they arrogantly assumed about you is now being exposed as their greatest mistake. Stay still for a moment and feel this truth rising in your chest. It is not you who looks foolish, but them who failed to see who you really are. The one they underestimated is the very one chosen to rise above them. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Your silence has never been weakness, it has been strategy. Your patience has been divine timing, waiting for the right moment when everything would turn. They never realized that quiet strength is louder than empty pride. The pride they carried is cracking under the weight of truth. The smirk they wore is vanishing into shame. Because the very one they mocked is the one being lifted into the spotlight. Your name is about to be spoken in rooms they thought you would never enter. Your presence will be requested in places they believed were beyond your reach. And in that moment, they will remember every time they thought you were nothing. Heaven has chosen to let their arrogance backfire. The light is exposing every shadow, every false assumption, every deceitful smile. Their downfall is not coming by your hand, but by the hand of justice that never misses. Type Amen to get blessing 444. The energy around you is shifting faster than they can understand. They don't even realize that their arrogance is the key unlocking their own exposure. What they thought was power is turning into chains they cannot break. Their pride has blinded them, but your clarity has carried you forward. They are stumbling in the dark, while your path is shining brighter than ever. Heaven is watching, ensuring that nothing they tried against you can remain hidden. Every insult, every doubt, every moment they rolled their eyes at you is being weighed. The scales are tipping, and their arrogance has written their own ending. But your name is written in light, and that cannot be erased. Do not fear what is ahead. The shame they tried to project onto you is returning to their own lives. Their words will crumble, but your truth will remain unshaken. Type Amen to get blessing 555. Your spirit is too powerful for them to destroy. They assumed you were fragile, but you are unbreakable. They assumed you were naive, but you are wise beyond their comprehension. The smokescreen they built is dissolving into thin air. Their games are being exposed for what they are. And now, the strength you carried in silence is roaring into view. Every room they tried to lock you out of will soon open. Every opportunity they mocked you for dreaming of is about to align. And in that moment, the only ones who will look foolish are those who thought you could never rise. Archangel Michael says, your crown has always been waiting. Their arrogance delayed nothing, it only prepared the stage for your grand entrance. Watch as heaven delivers the justice that was always promised. Type Amen to get blessing 666. They believed you were behind them, when in truth you were ahead. They laughed, not realizing you were already chosen. Their pride blinded them, but your humility carried power. You stood still when they mocked, because you knew heaven was moving silently for you. You chose patience, because your destiny was too precious to be rushed. Now they will see the result of underestimating you. The shift is already here. Their voices are losing strength. But your name is gaining momentum, echoing in spaces they cannot silence. They arrogantly assumed you were nothing. But they are about to realize that heaven always knew you were everything. Type Amen to get blessing 777. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. Archangel Michael says, the stage has been set for their arrogance to collapse. They strutted with pride, convinced that you were small, unaware, and beneath their level. Yet, every step they took forward in pride was a step deeper into their own downfall. The whispers they carried in shadows were not secret. Heaven heard them all, and the truth was quietly written down against them. While they thought they were clever, their pride was being recorded in the book of consequences. You stood silently, watching, learning, and growing stronger. They thought you were silent because you lacked strength, but you were silent because your strength was building. Every moment you endured has become a seed of power ready to rise. And now, the time of silence is ending. Their arrogance is about to be revealed for the world to see. The one they thought foolish is becoming the wisdom they cannot deny. Type Amen to get blessing 888. The chains of shame they tried to throw on you are falling back on them. They assumed you would never break free, but you have already been released. What once looked like their control is now their own prison. Their arrogance is like glass, cracking under pressure. They believed it was solid, but it was fragile all along. Now, every false thought they carried about you is crumbling. Your name is being lifted above their noise. Their words, their schemes, their pride cannot block the rising of your light. Heaven has chosen you, and no arrogance can stand in the way of divine selection. Every single insult will be turned into a reason for your victory. Every single moment of mockery will be turned into proof of your strength. This is the turning point they cannot stop. Type Amen to get blessing 999. The laughter they carried is fading. The power they believed they had is slipping through their fingers like sand. They cannot grasp what heaven has already taken from them. They underestimated the quiet strength inside you. They assumed silence meant weakness, but silence was your shield. And now, that shield is transforming into a sword. The arrogance they flaunted was nothing more than ignorance in disguise. They believed they were wise, but their wisdom has failed them. The very plan they built against you is the plan that will collapse their pride. Your crown is unshakable. Your destiny is untouchable. And the very people who thought you were nothing will be forced to watch you rise. Type Amen to get blessing 111. The arrogance of others is a mirror they cannot escape. Everything they projected onto you is now reflecting back on their lives. They will feel the weight of their own words pressing down. You stood patiently, waiting for your moment. They assumed patience was weakness, but patience is the proof of divine timing. You did not need to rush, because heaven has already gone ahead of you. Their downfall is not your doing, it is their own arrogance finally coming home. They believed they were untouchable, but no one escapes the truth. The higher they try to climb over you, the harder their fall will be. Your spirit was never broken. Your silence was never weakness. It was the quiet before the victory that now belongs to you. Type Amen to get blessing 222. The time is drawing near when every eye will see the difference. They thought you were alone, but heaven never left your side. They thought you were foolish, but you carried wisdom greater than their pride. Their arrogant smiles are fading. Their laughter echoes hollow in their own ears. Because now, the world will see what heaven has always seen in you. The exposure is coming. The truth cannot be hidden anymore. And when the curtains fall, the stage will reveal their arrogance as weakness, and your silence as power. This is the moment heaven has chosen to honor you. Their downfall is your lifting. Their loss is your reward. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Their pride is cracking like thin ice beneath heavy footsteps. They thought they could walk above you, blind to the fact that heaven was already shaking the ground under their arrogance. Every careless word they spoke against you is echoing back louder than they imagined. The silence you carried was never emptiness. It was the silence of strength being formed, of wisdom being sharpened, of destiny being prepared. And now, that silence is about to erupt into undeniable victory. They underestimated you because they could not measure what heaven placed inside you. They mocked your quietness because they could not see your hidden power. They arrogantly assumed you were small, but they are about to learn that you are chosen. The light of heaven is exposing every shadow they hid in. Their false confidence is dissolving. And you, the one they belittled, will shine brighter than they ever imagined. Type Amen to get blessing 444. Their steps were heavy with pride, but your steps are steady with grace. They ran ahead arrogantly, but you walked patiently, and patience always wins the race heaven has written. Now their rush leads them into walls, while your calm leads you into open doors. They thought you would never notice the way they laughed. They believed you were blind to the whispers. But your spirit felt it all, and heaven kept account. Your story was never theirs to control. Your destiny was never in their hands. And soon, the tables will turn so powerfully that even they will not understand how quickly the shift came. Their pride is the chain that will bind them. Your faith is the key that sets you free. Heaven has always known who you are. Type Amen to get blessing 555. The arrogance they wrapped themselves in is unraveling thread by thread. They spoke with confidence, but their words were hollow. They pretended to lead, but they walked in circles of their own lies. Your path was mocked, yet it was the true path all along. Your choices were criticized, yet they were choices made with divine wisdom. And soon, everyone will see the difference. The same mouths that laughed at you will whisper your name in awe. The same hearts that doubted you will tremble as they see you rise. Their pride cannot silence the sound of your destiny. The storm they tried to create for you is the very storm that will sweep them away. Their arrogance cannot withstand the justice now unfolding. Type Amen to get blessing 666. They thought your stillness was weakness, but your stillness was strength. They thought your silence was stupidity, but silence was the strategy heaven gave you. Now, their loud arrogance is being silenced forever. Their eyes will widen when they see what heaven has placed in your hands. The same hands they mocked will carry blessings they can never reach. And the same voice they silenced will speak truths that shake their pride. The weight of their arrogance is too heavy for them to carry. The false crowns they wore are slipping. But your crown, prepared in heaven, is being placed firmly on your head. Their downfall is not far. The more they try to hide, the more the light exposes them. Their arrogance is writing the very script of their own collapse. Type Amen to get blessing 777. The day is coming when you will not even need to speak. Your presence alone will prove every assumption wrong. The glow of your spirit will silence every arrogant voice. They will see you walking into blessings they thought you could never touch. They will watch doors open for you that they swore were forever locked. And every arrogant word they spoke will turn into regret. Your patience has carried you to this moment. The strength you held in silence has brought you to the turning point. And heaven is preparing to reveal just how chosen you are. Their arrogance is their weakness. But your humility is your power. And in the end, you are the one who will rise. Type Amen to get blessing 888. They sat in circles of pride, believing their words were strong enough to define you. They smirked in arrogance, convinced their judgment was the truth. But heaven was watching silently, preparing to reveal who was truly blind. The quietness you carried unsettled them. They could not understand why you never fought back. But silence is often the loudest answer, and yours is echoing through every corner of their arrogance now. They believed their mocking would break you. Yet every insult became another layer of your strength. What they thought was your weakness has become your shield. The very ground they stood on is shaking. The arrogance that once seemed unshakable is now cracking beneath their feet. Their downfall is not far away. Type Amen to get blessing 999. You were never foolish, though they treated you that way. Your patience was not ignorance, it was strategy. And now, their false confidence is meeting the weight of truth. They assumed they were above you. They assumed you would never rise. But heaven has already lifted you beyond their reach. Every laugh they shared at your expense is now echoing back with shame. Their pride cannot protect them from exposure. And soon, they will realize the very thing they feared, your rise, is already here. Your name is being placed where they never imagined. The light is opening paths that arrogance can never walk. You are stepping into destiny, while they stumble in their own pride. Type Amen to get blessing 111. The very moments they mocked you for are becoming your testimony. The mistakes they magnified are becoming your proof of growth. What they called weakness is the strength heaven has always seen. Their arrogance blinded them to reality. They assumed their pride was permanent. But pride is fragile, and now it is collapsing under the truth. Your humility has been your secret weapon. Your silence has been your fortress. And the storm of justice is now rising on your side. They thought you were beneath them. But now, they are forced to look up to see the crown heaven is placing upon your head. Type Amen to get blessing 222. The arrogance they carried is turning into their own chains. Every word spoken against you is returning to their lives. They will not escape the echoes of their own pride. Your spirit cannot be contained. Your destiny cannot be blocked. And their arrogance has only cleared the way for your rising. They thought your story was ending. But heaven is only beginning to reveal the pages. And each chapter exposes their blindness and confirms your strength. The same people who assumed you were nothing will be forced to witness your victory. Their silence will not be pride this time, it will be regret. Type Amen to get blessing 333. The eyes that once looked down on you will not be able to meet yours soon. Their arrogance is fading into shadows, and your light is becoming too powerful to ignore. Every step you take forward is another reminder that they were wrong about you. They thought you were finished, but you were only preparing. They thought you were weak, but you were only gathering strength. And now, heaven is unveiling the truth they never wanted to face. Your silence has been louder than their pride. Your patience has been sharper than their arrogance. And soon, they will realize the very things they mocked became the reasons you rose. The hands that pointed at you will tremble. The mouths that mocked you will stutter. And the pride that once puffed them up will collapse in shame. Type Amen to get blessing 444. They arrogantly assumed you were blind, but you were watching everything. They assumed you were deaf, but you heard every whisper. They assumed you were foolish, but wisdom has always lived within you. Their arrogance is now their exposure. Every move they made is being revealed. Every step they took against you is leading them into their own downfall. You are rising into a level they cannot comprehend. The same rooms they tried to lock you out of will soon need your presence. And the same voices that dismissed you will be forced to call your name with respect. The tide has shifted, and heaven has already chosen the ending. Their pride is collapsing. Your crown is rising. Type Amen to get blessing 555. The smirks that once mocked you will vanish in silence. The pride that once stood against you will bow to truth. Because arrogance always destroys itself, but humility always builds victory. They called you weak for waiting. But your waiting was strength. It was the silence before the roar, the calm before the storm of justice. Every false word they spoke is collapsing under the weight of truth. Every plan they made in secret is falling apart in their own hands. And now, they cannot undo what heaven has written. You are stepping into a moment they cannot touch. And their arrogance will be the fire that consumes their own pride. Type Amen to get blessing 666. They assumed your story was small. They assumed your voice was powerless. But your destiny was written long before their arrogance appeared. The shame they tried to throw at you is turning back on their own lives. The lies they spread are turning into truths that reveal them. And the power they thought they had is crumbling like sand. You are walking into doors they never imagined you could enter. Your steps are ordered, and their pride cannot stop you. What was hidden in silence is now breaking into the open. Their arrogance is their undoing. But your patience is your rising. And heaven is standing with you through it all. Type Amen to get blessing 777. The very stage they built to laugh at you is turning into the stage of their exposure. Every whisper they shared in arrogance is being carried back to their own lives. They thought they had power over your story, but they were only writing their own ending. The silence you carried was never weakness, it was wisdom. You let them believe they had the upper hand, but all along, heaven was preparing the reversal. Now the truth is breaking through like light through a cracked wall. They assumed you were small, but small things often carry the greatest power. They assumed you were blind, but you saw more than they could ever imagine. They assumed you were weak, but your strength has always been divine. Their arrogance cannot survive the shift that has already begun. Their pride is collapsing faster than they can control. And your rise is unstoppable. Type Amen to get blessing 888. They will remember the moments they mocked you. They will remember the times they dismissed your name. And those memories will sting them as they watch you walk into blessings they cannot touch. The walls they tried to build around you are falling. The locks they placed on doors are breaking. And the keys they thought belonged to them are being handed to you. Your path is clearing, step by step. The light of destiny is shining brighter than their arrogance can hide. And now, they cannot stop what has already been written. They assumed their pride would protect them. But their pride has only made them fragile. And now, the truth is striking where they least expect it. Type Amen to get blessing 999. The tables have turned in silence. Without warning, everything they thought was theirs is slipping away. And everything they thought you could never reach is drawing closer to you. Their arrogance blinded them to the signs. They ignored the shifts, the whispers, the warnings. But nothing can silence the hand of heaven. You were always chosen. You were always protected. And their assumptions were nothing but illusions, ready to break. Their laughter has become hollow. Their pride has turned into dust. And your crown is shining brighter than ever. Type Amen to get blessing 111. The very people who mocked you will now be silent in your presence. The arrogance they carried will turn into regret. And the shame they tried to give you will return to them sevenfold. You did not fight back, because heaven was fighting for you. You did not need to prove yourself, because truth always proves itself in time. And now, time is here. The revelation is unstoppable. The exposure cannot be delayed. And their arrogance is powerless against what is unfolding. Your story is rising like fire in the night. They cannot extinguish it. They can only watch as you shine brighter than they ever expected. Type Amen to get blessing 222. The arrogance they carried was heavy, yet they wore it proudly. They thought it made them powerful, but pride has always been a mask. And now, that mask is slipping, revealing the truth they tried to hide. Every glance they threw at you in judgment is turning into shame. Every whisper they spread against you is turning into regret. Their arrogance is not protection, it is the very fire burning their own foundation. You were quiet because heaven told you to wait. You did not need to rush, because your moment was already written. And now, the silence of your patience is louder than their pride ever was. The people who thought you were nothing will not recognize you soon. The very ones who dismissed you will not understand how you rose so high. And their arrogance will taste bitter when your name shines brighter. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Their downfall is not far away. They built their pride like a tower, but towers made of arrogance always fall. What they thought was permanent is crumbling before their eyes. You carried dignity when they carried mockery. You carried humility when they carried pride. And dignity always outlasts arrogance. The very laughter that hurt you will echo back to them. The very shame they tried to place on you will return with weight. And they will understand too late that heaven does not ignore the cries of the humble. You are stepping into what was always meant for you. No arrogance can block it. No pride can delay it. Type Amen to get blessing 444. Their voices are trembling now. Their pride is cracking like thin glass under pressure. And soon, everyone will see that the one they mocked was chosen all along. They thought you were blind, but you saw everything. They thought you were weak, but strength was being built inside you. They thought you were small, but you were standing on divine ground. Every door they tried to close is opening. Every opportunity they tried to steal is returning. And their arrogance has no power to stop the flood of blessings. Their pride is their own undoing. But your humility has always been your strength. And now, that strength is rising. Type Amen to get blessing 555. The lies they spread are falling apart. Their arrogance is dissolving in the light of truth. And they are being exposed for who they truly are. You are not who they thought you were. You are greater, stronger, and chosen in ways they cannot comprehend. Their blindness to your worth is their greatest mistake. Every insult they used is now powerless. Every assumption they made is now broken. The truth is standing too strong to be denied. Your silence has ended. Your crown is visible. And their arrogance cannot survive the weight of this moment. Type Amen to get blessing 666.